Hi, how are you doing? Wycherley here. Today we're going to talk about how to make sure your buyer persona is rocking your business. This is the number one reason why people mess up with their social media. Everybody's always coming to me as a big social media trainer, clients all over the world, asking me all about the social media strategies that are going to work for their particular business in their sector. But the reality is we need to back up a bit. In fact, quite a lot, and make sure that we really understand who the buyer persona is, who we're trying to target, who are the target audience, how do we get under their skin in terms of the problems and solutions that we're serving and offering, so that we can make sure that we bring them down the sales funnel. And if we don't have that buyer persona nailed down systematically and in as much detail as possible, all of our marketing is actually going to fail. So stay tuned, and we're going to be talking about your buyer persona. And this is part 2. We also did part 1 last week, so make sure you check the links and catch up to speed with all of the things you need to know to understand how to use your buyer persona effectively. And make sure you subscribe and click the bells so that you can get notifications whenever a new video is published. Okay, so today I want to help you understand the whole process of working with your buyer persona and making sure that they are working in your favor. If you don't have a precise buyer persona, you cannot target ads at them because you cannot define exactly who they are. Therefore, when you put up some kind of ad on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you'll be like, okay, I want to target to all women aged between 25 and 60 who live in the UK and who like shopping. That is going to cost you an absolute fortune, and you'll get no results whatsoever, and you'll spend a lot of money because the platforms will be delighted to take your stupid money because you haven't had the brains or the skills or the knowledge to be able to define your audience more precisely. Because if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. So I want to give you a couple of exercises that's going to help you understand how to identify a buyer persona. I want you to get your pen and paper ready and start taking notes as we go through a couple of these fast exercises that will help you understand who is a buyer persona. Before we move into your buyer persona, let's look at other companies' buyer personas and how they have put them together. All right, first off, I want you to look at this particular image. I want you to look at the type of words that they use around the image. I want you to look at what's happening in the image, and I want you to look at the font, the colors. You know, is it a scripty type of font? Is it a bold type of font? Is it a romantic type of font? What kind of words are they using? They're using words like racing, know-how, continuous, innovation, edge, competition, blood, stop, never stop, or fast-moving, commitment, they're up to you. You know, look at all those words, and then I want you to look at everything around this and decide, first of all, what are they selling? It's pretty obvious, but what are they selling, and who are they selling it to? Is this targeted at somebody who's like male over 50, or are they female between 25 and 45? I want you to put down a quick description of how you can identify this particular individual. Take your time, you can stop the video as you're going through it, but first of all, put through your name, the age range of this particular target buyer, their gender or sex, their job or profession. Do they work as an accountant? Are they a laborer, or are they a skilled worker? Have a look at this particular image. Again, I want you to identify who the buyer persona is. The clue can often be found in the types of people that they put into the ads. So again, is this a male? Is this over 50? Is this somebody who lives an urban lifestyle, or somebody who lives in the countryside? Look at the fonts, look at the words that they're using, look at the colors, look at the setting, and write down in as much detail as you can who this company's buyer persona is targeted at. Even some of the words that they're using is a bit of a clue. So, as I was saying, get the name right, get the age range, get the gender, the job profession, and then we move on to the next one. How about this one? This is Joe Malone. Joe Malone is a little bit more highbrow, perhaps, than the other ones, you might say, because they're being a lot more arty, a lot more esoteric in how they're putting their information together. Look at how they're using their fonts, look at their logo, look at the kind of people that they've got actually situated using the products that they have put in unusual spaces there. So again, go through the whole process again. Is this somebody who's male, over 50? Is this a 13-year-old? How would you describe this person? So let's get into a little bit more detail even. What's their name, age range, gender, job profession? What newspapers or magazines do they read? Now we're getting a little bit more specific. Which TV programs do they watch? Are they big fans of Love Island? Or are they all about Channel 4 News? Who's their role model? All of these pieces of information are vital to get under the skin of your buyer persona. So even if you look at the Joe Malone brand on Instagram, you can see the kind of colors that they're using, and then the fonts that they're using, and how they're using the highlights, and then the stories. They are really, really trying to focus on inspiring a particular demographic that's not every other demographic. If you want to make a marketing comparison with Trump, he never used to worry about who hit all the people who were slagging him off, because he was like, hey, you're not my demographic, so I will look after my crew, my community, etc. So when it comes to the Joe Malone, I want you to also think about what that buyer persona, what do they hate? What's their favorite social media platform? Who might Joe Malone's competitors be? For example, if this buyer persona, if we call her Sally or we call him Joe, if they don't buy Joe Malone, who will they spend their money on? Because they're obviously going to buy some kind of perfume or some kind of candles. So who are the competitors that Joe Malone is matching up against? Then I want you to look at the customer journey. Think about how people are finding out about Joe Malone for the first time. Is it because they walk past them on the high street, in the shops? Or is it because they've seen a magazine advert? What is the first moment of contact? And then how is that contact amplified through maybe different ads on different programs, etc., etc.? What is that customer journey about, and how many times do people see that product, see the Joe Malone brand, before they're ready to actually make a purchase? That could be quite a long journey before they make that purchase. So map that customer journey out, and you'll get a very good understanding of how to create your own buyer persona for your own business. And then let's identify what is the zero moment of truth. What is that one thing, that one moment that's actually going to make them purchase? Is it because it's a birthday? Is it a gift? Is it Christmas? Is it a start of a new relationship? What's happening? What is that zero moment of truth? Is it a special offer? Is it a discount? Is it a bundle of packages? You buy 3 and you get 1 free. What is that zero moment of truth? And then finally, let's look at this other brand as well. So they've got a sale going on, so they've got a pop-up, and you get to choose between shopping the shirts or everything else in the sale. Look at the colors, look at the people that are in the images, look at the way that the fonts are being put together. What does that tell you about the type of person that they're trying to communicate with, that they're trying to get under the skin? Because a reality when it comes to branding is that people understand the colors and the sense of the composition of the design before they've even looked at what the words are saying. So intuitively, people understand instantly, this is my type of people or this is not my type of people, based on the color and the composition before you even get to the words. Again, let's look at Charles Turwitt and their Instagram account. It's very strongly focused on a very sober navy blue, with some very serif type fonts that is trying to establish authority and credibility. And let's go through the whole exercise. We want the name, age range, gender, job profession, what newspapers or magazines are they reading, what TV programs are they watching, who is their role model, and already you're beginning to tell all of the answers to these are going to be completely different to the Joe Malone answers, aren't they? What do they hate? What are their favorite social media platforms? Who are the competitors to Charles Tyrwhitt? One good thing to imagine is like the person is sitting there with their bag of money ready to purchase something, and they're deciding between 3 different places where they're going to buy some shirts. So what are the other places that are in competition for your attention? What is the customer journey and the 0 moment of truth? And finally, here we have our coup de grace. We've got the moly, Himalayan healing salts. A bargain price of £36. And if you're going to be selling a high-end salt like this, you've got to give it a whole bunch of romance and a whole bunch of narrative and lots of provenance and mysticism, even spirituality, in order to sell the healing properties of this particular type of salt. So they're using words like stress, impact, radiation, mobile phones, fatigue, off balance, healing, therapeutic oils, soothing powered rose quartz crystals, well-being, clarity, overly stimulated world, blah blah blah. And then even if you click further into the website, you can see that there's recommendations for the ritual that you might want to go through if you're going to be buying this for either for yourself or as a gift for somebody who is this somebody that you're going to be buying this for. Because if they buy this product, they can have a ritual which is self-nurturing and very good for stillness. You place a handful of Himalayan healing salts, approximately 50 g, into running water and immerse yourself for 15 minutes to allow the healing elements time to absorb into the skin. And then you leave the bath without rinsing. Wrap yourself in a towel and drink plenty of herbal infusion to rehydrate. Enter a silent reprieve before drifting off into a good night's sleep. All that for only £36. So I hope that's given you some really good, interesting information into how to decide who your buyer persona is, and recognize that if you're trying to sell your product to the wrong people at the wrong time in the wrong way, you are going to fail, no matter how great you are at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of these great platforms. So go ahead, work out how your buyer persona operates, what time of day they operate, at what moment they're actually going to be buying your products or services, and then start building your business accordingly. If you need a hand with anything, always here to help out with your social media marketing. So that's Finn Wycherley of Supersize Media, and I will see you for the next video. Ciao!